With GLP-1 medications on the rise, there has been lots of concerns regarding these medications and if they will harm your overall health. If you're looking to start introducing GLP-1 weight loss drugs into your journey but have concerns if it's safe to use, I am here to clear this up and clear any confusion and fix your worries fast. So let's get started. First thing that we're going to be talking about is microdosing versus macrodosing. Usually when you are taking a weight loss drug or GLP-1 medication like Ozempic, for example, you want to focus on microdosage. With GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, you want to focus on microdosage because most people, from what I've seen in many videos, is that they use macrodosage, and so they're losing weight at a more rapid or faster pace. The faster that you're losing weight, the more muscle that you tend to lose. So when you're microdosing, you lose weight in a smaller percentage. This prevents you from losing that muscle mass. When you're able to maintain muscle mass, it makes things easier for you to lose weight and even keep weight off because your metabolism remains high. So if you're concerned about taking a GLP-1 medication, I recommend talking to your doctor because most doctors will recommend a small microdosage of GLP-1s. And something that you want to avoid is if your doctor recommends a big dosage, you want to switch to a new doctor because if that doctor is recommending you a macro dosage and they're telling you to just remain on a weight loss drug and depend on it for weight loss, that is a big red flag, which again, I've seen some doctors do in order to get people to depend on it. That way they can keep coming into their office and paying them for this GLP-1. But back to the topic of muscle mass, you want to maintain muscle mass by strength training, eating more protein, and having an overall balanced structure with your diet. A balanced structure with your diet looks like having enough protein, getting in enough carbohydrates, getting in enough healthy fats, and adding in your micronutrients like your vegetables and your fruits. And you can look this ratio up online because a lot of examples or images that you see, for example, like Google, you can even tell AI, I'm this height, I'm this sex, and it will tell you an estimation of what you could follow in the beginning if you're just starting out with your weight loss journey. What I recommend for most people when trying to lose weight is that they need to be portioning out their food. They need to be tracking how much food that they're consuming and being very mindful about how many calories that they're eating in a day. With vegetables and some fruits, you don't need to focus on this as much because usually they're very fibrous and they have a lot of water content and they're very filling. So it's kind of impossible to eat a ton of broccoli over like a certain amount of cookies. Like 200 calories for broccoli would look very different from like 200 calories from Oreos. This is because you can eat more of that food and feel more full with less calories than you could with the Oreos. So focusing on having an overall balanced diet and getting in more strength training and exercise is going to help you maintain that muscle mass so that your metabolism doesn't drop and you can burn more calories in your day. Another downside of losing your muscle mass is that when you lose it, your body tends to look more squishy or more fluffy because you don't have that same definition that you have gained from, previous years of exercise and body weight movements and dumbbell exercises. And so you're losing all of that progress with macro dosage because it's wasting away that muscle because it doesn't just rely on things like fat. In the beginning, usually it will be more water weight that you lose and even things like muscle. So if you're trying to fit into smaller clothing and reduce the sizage that you're wearing for clothes, you're not going to see any budge there because there's no change in the amount of fat that you're really burning. Instead, you kind of look more worse than you did before, because before at least you had, some definition with like muscle, and now it's just all soft. That's something that you want to avoid when you're thinking about going on a GLP-1 or going on something like Ozempic, because you want to maintain that muscle mass. I'm going to keep saying it because it's very, very important. Muscle mass plays a huge role in how you lose weight and how you see results. The last thing that we're going to be talking about that often isn't talked about much in this space and on many videos that I've seen is that most creators or people addressing weight loss medications don't talk about how it impacts your mental health. Like many crash diets, weight loss drugs are not very different, because when you up the dosage and when you lose weight at a quicker pace, it gives that similar thought process in your mind that you're a failure, that you'll never succeed, that you might just quit because what's the point of even trying? And so we want to pay attention to that, because another important factor when it comes to losing weight is how you perceive yourself and what you think you can achieve, and having a positive mindset. Having a positive mindset is going to take you way further than having a negative mindset, because you're actually able to accomplish more, see more progress than if you actually had a negative mindset. Looking at the small changes instead of the big changes and setting smaller goals instead of huge goals is going to be a lot easier when you're trying to lose weight. And this goes for any type of thing you're trying to achieve. When it comes to seeing results and success, you want to focus on how you address yourself, what you say to yourself, the thoughts that you have in your mind, because that can really affect the type of results that you're seeing. Because if we don't have enough confidence or we are really hard on ourselves, we're not going to see as much progress, because we're more likely to actually give up than if we fed our brain with positive thoughts and a positive mindset. Also, another thing with a negative mindset is it actually does lead into body dysmorphia. The more you become frustrated with yourself, the more that you're hard on yourself, it can tend to lead to things like a negative self-perception of how you view your body. If you start to nitpick at everything, or if your structure isn't right when using these medications and you don't have an overall structure with your diet, your exercise routine, managing your stress, managing your mental health, it can all collapse on you, and it'll leave you with a negative self-perception in your mind and how you view your physique or your body. So to prevent all of these things, we need to have a clear plan and a clear strategy that's going to help us see good results without being so hard on ourselves. Doing the things that I was saying, like having a balanced meal, adding in more whole foods, getting in more strength training, getting in even more cardio, just doing things that feel good are going to help you see more consistent progress and success than doing things that you find very dreadful. GLP-1s can be a great tool for losing weight. However, it can come at a great price if you do not use it wisely. Avoiding macrodosing, talking with your doctor before you start, and altering your mindset can help you succeed with these medications. Understand that your diet plays a big role, as well as your genetics and your exercise routine, to see results. Learning to build a good structure for your weight loss plan is key. Combined with a positive mindset, can help you achieve anything.